Hey everyone, Tony here with Space But Messier, and I'm about to interview a flat earther. So enjoy. So the goal of this interview is not to debate. It's not to attack or roast. I mean, the goal eventually would, of course, be to convince him the truth. But you can't have a legitimate argument or debate without trying to fully understand the opposite side. So that's what we're doing. And that's it. I don't think he'll like this very much. I have all my questions. I've done a lot of research. While we're waiting for him, if you guys have questions you would ask a flat earther, I don't think we'll do this again, but if we do, post them below. Still waiting for him to come on here. Let's see if he shows up. Come on, dude. Don't let me down. Welcome, everyone, to the Space But Messier podcast. My name is Tony, and today we have a special guest, King Solomon himself, and we are talking about the flat Earth theory. Now, today is going to be a conversation to simply learn more, ask good questions, and just kind of hear what King Solomon, as someone who subscribes, believes in the flat Earth theory, and sees it as truth. We're going to learn why, so that we can decide for ourselves what is true and what is not. Does that sound good, King Solomon?
Oh yeah, I'm always down for some truth, my bro.
Awesome. Okay, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background a little bit?
So my personal background.
Yeah.
I actually went to school for I went to school for engineering. I worked in a nonprofit field, and currently I'm a business owner. Not sure exactly what to say, man. I'm from Chicago.
No, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Whatever you
just
want to say.
yeah, that's cool.
So just to give a kind of a background for the listeners, I signed up for Clubhouse, I don't know, a month or so ago. And for those of you who don't know, Clubhouse is like a, not social media, but like a social networking app where you can basically just open a chat room, and if you open the room, you can control who has talking capabilities, and there's just great conversations in there. And I love conspiracy theories. I mean, they're fun, man. And some are better than others. But I saw your group specifically, and not only did you have some fun theories, but you mostly had a lot of respect in there, which I really loved. So
Yeah, that's how we get in. That's the only way you can actually have open-minded conversations, right? So people come in, when you say conspiracy theory, people come in and say all kinds of shit. And
oh yeah.
so it's only, the only way to hear people out or to make it good for people to come in and feel free to express is if you have an environment that's filled with respect. And that's the only way and we do with that, you get to a lot of places where you understand people. And I think that shit is cool.
Yeah. So I guess in terms of like conspiracy theories in general, you hear some, no doubt, that you're like, I don't know about that. In the group, I'm sure you hear some.
Oh, I hear some tall ones, dude. I hear some tall ones, and I'm like, really?
How do you
So the thing
respond?
is,
That's my question. How do you respond to those?
So you know what, man? Being as how it's a conspiracy theory group, all of them are welcome, right? But so the thing with ours though is you can't just come in and say any fucking thing. You got to have some sort of documentation to go with it. So I don't know if you're in there and you heard us say, all right, if this is what you think, cool, post the links. Right, we want to see what your supporting documentation is.
Okay.
Right, and so that's why I like ours, because it's more than just say anything. It's all right. You can say anything as long as you got something to back this shit up. You get what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? And that kind of keeps us grounded. Because if you say some bullshit, and I need to see what you're talking about, and I might learn something.
Absolutely.
Right, the thing that 2 seconds ago I thought was a load of fucking shit, I'm now like, hold on, man, this motherfucker might be right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I don't think your group would survive if there was a negative environment. So I think you're right. And that's great. Okay, well, let's dive into it. My listeners well, maybe even just me, but I also heard from some listeners too that flat Earth is super intriguing, and it's hard to learn a lot about because, I mean, you go on the internet and a lot of it is just memes, and a lot of it is just making fun, and it's hard to find a source that is actual from someone, because all these YouTube videos are, some of them are, they're just poking fun at it, right? And so I wanted to talk to somebody that can actually tell us firsthand, like what it's about and kind of where it comes from. So I guess the theory that I'm talking about is the idea that the Earth is not a globe or like a round ball, but it is a disc. And I mean that, I guess we'll start there. So
Yeah, no, that's cool.
you just want to kind of walk us through the beginning of the theory
So
there.
I mean, that's good. We can start right there, right?
Okay.
So let's start at the beginning, okay? And the first thing that everybody needs to understand is this: every person who is a flat earther today started off trying to prove that the world wasn't flat, including myself, right? Anybody that I've ever ran into that digs into it like I dig into it, right?
Yeah.
Started off trying to prove that this is some fucking bullshit and this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life, right?
Okay.
And it's like quicksand. The more you fight it, the more it draws you into it. Like, oh fucking shit, right?
Okay.
So
yeah, you were an engineering major, so that makes sense.
yeah, exactly. Like, no, I can debunk this shit. Nigga, I got facts. I got science on my side.
Yeah.
Like, it's not close. So this idea of the world is like, because I had heard before I started digging into it, I had heard about it probably like 3 years earlier, and I was on the phone, and somebody was like, "Yeah, man, I'm looking on the internet, and some people up here talking about the Earth is flat," and I was like, "Man, get that stupid shit out of here." And she was like, "No, man, they serious," and I dismissed that shit with the quickness. And so fast forward a few years later, I was, you know what, I was laying in bed and I was scrolling through Facebook, and I saw a quick article. It was a link to an article that said 5 reasons why the Earth is flat. I said, "Here go this bullshit again. Somebody really talking about this stupid shit." And so I clicked on the link just to watch the video, so I can, you know, how you look at some shit just to kind of mentally disprove the shit as you go along.
Oh yes.
And so they said something, and I'm like, "Nope, no, that's bullshit because of this. That's bullshit because of this." And then the one thing they said that intrigued me was that if the world was a spinning globe, then I should be able to. And they talked about somebody who did an experiment with the helicopter. I don't know if you've heard of this before.
I don't
Where they
think
got
so.
in the helicopter,
Okay.
and they was like, "All right, they gonna hang out." They hung out for a certain amount of hours, and they was like, "If the world was spinning, then the I should be in a different city by now because the Earth should have been spinning up under me." I was like, "Ooh." So that was the idea that if we're on a spinning globe, somebody who leaves contact with the Earth um, should watch the world spin up under them,
Okay.
right? And that intrigued me. I was like, "Oh, okay." So from that, I just kind of I think I looked at see. So then during that time, YouTube had related videos, and so that's how
Huh.
you find wormholes through the
Yeah.
related
Oh
videos.
yes.
And so from that, it was a wormhole of just me looking at, hold on, why this don't happen. And so related video after related video just led me, you know, further and further into questioning shit, into a lot of things that I had taken as you know fact. And after about, you know what, after about a week and a half of me talking to like everybody I would talk to, all my friends would call, and I'm like, "Man, you ever think about this?" Or, you know, I would just be bringing up all these different points that I'm going back and forth with. And finally, one of my friends was like, he was like, "Man, that shit's stupid as hell." And then he got on Facebook and he found a Facebook group ran by Nathan Thompson. It was the official Flat Earth Globe discussion group. And that was it. So getting in there, so that was a community of of people who didn't believe, did believe, people in the middle. It was just it was a whole bunch of people talking about it. And so I was able to just kind of hear the arguments pro and against,
Okay.
right? And I was in the comment section talking about every aspect of um any proof that has something to do with the Earth being flat or if it's a globe, and people going back and forth. It was a lot of educated people, a lot of people who use a lot of critical thinking, a lot of reasoning, and who brought a lot of facts and a lot of evidence,
Okay.
right? And now my chops just in those discussion groups, going back and forth with people. And yeah, and so I got a lot out of that group, right? To the point where, so that group was so goddamn powerful, Facebook actually got rid of that shit. Right.
Sure. Yeah.
I went on Facebook one day and that shit was just gone.
Okay.
Right.
Wait, and if I may, just real quick, just
Mhm.
from that, maybe that group, or just a, and maybe you'll get to this, so you could say you'll get to it. That's fine. What does like evidence for the flat Earth theory look like? Like, what kind of evidence is there?
So the one thing I like about flat earthers in general is that it's a lot of common sense, and it's some of the most practical people you'll ever meet, right? They're really pro-critical thinking. And so when we talk about evidence, we talk about science in the true sense of the word, okay? Meaning that stuff that is observable, testable, repeatable. And that means a lot.
Okay.
If we're talking about something that's truly scientific, that means there's some that you can see and I can see, right? I conduct the test over here. I come up with the outcomes of my test. I'll tell you about it, and then I'll tell you what I did, how I did it, and the results of it. And then what you'll do is you'll do the exact same thing over there where you are, right?
Okay.
And you should come up with the same results that I did. If you don't, then that means what I did wasn't repeatable.
Okay.
So that means it wasn't true science. So that means that we're putting these experiments together that everybody can do at their own places or somewhere around where they are, or they can go somewhere and do the shit. And we all coming up with the same goddamn results. That's observable, testable, repeatable evidence. That's what I call science. Anything that doesn't follow those steps is pseudoscience.
Okay. That makes sense. So these, and I know once again, I'm sure we'll probably get to this, but there are organizations and agencies that claim to do experiments scientifically, and there's a lack of trust around those, correct?
Correct. So, you know what? Even if I trust them, that's not how science works, right? You can be my best friend, you can be my mom, you can be my grandma. That don't make it scientific because I trust you, right? I have to be able to do the same thing that you did, independent of you, and come up with the same results that you did, right?
Okay. So the fact that we cannot, like, I don't have the money, the metal, or the means to send a massive rocket straight up, it means it's not repeatable.
Right. Exactly. So now, yes, that's that, right?
Okay.
That's that. And so what we find when we start looking into these things is the knowledge that we've been given, that's been indoctrinated into us, comes from people whom we can't trust. That through investigation of the sources, we discover that these people habitually lie to us. And so my question is always this: if you're married or you have a significant other, how many times do you have to catch them cheating on you before you don't trust them anymore? You get what I'm saying? How many lies do you catch them in before you say, you know what, you're a liar and I can't trust you?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm a forgiving person, so I hope I would let one slide. So we'll say two.
Right. Okay. Cool. and I can tell you, I can show you more than two lies that these people have told us and that we caught them in.
Okay, so these people is like NASA and the US government.
Exactly. The quote unquote authority, the people whom we're supposed to trust in the realm of this.
Okay.
Right. So when it comes to believing that the Earth is a sphere and that space exists and that we've been to the moon and we've been to Mars and all this other shit is going on, these are the people whom we have to trust.
Okay. Right.
And so in the flat Earth community, we don't do trust. We do science.
Okay. So what about organizations that are, popping up now, like SpaceX and Blue Origin? Is like the jury's still out on those?
No, the jury's been back. It's come back guilty. I mean, there is no such thing as an independent organization in this manner. And so I know and we can go back and look at one of the hallmark documents in the Flat Earth Society, or in the realm of discussing the Earth.
Okay.
To this. So when we talk about Antarctica, right?
Oh yeah, I wanted to get into that.
Right. So yeah, I saw that in your list, right? So Antarctica is that gives us a breadcrumb. So in 1958, the Antarctic Treaty was signed by the I think it was at that time the 12 largest countries on the world who had the capability of doing exploration, right? So they all agree that no one would go to Antarctica for that's not approved by them, right? It's very controlled. It's militarily controlled in the air and in the sea. So you can't go there but for guided tours, which are very expensive. Okay. Now, what's important about that is this, that no matter what was going on in the world, no matter who was mad at who was at war with who, what countries were practicing espionage and spy games and military threats against each other, nobody violated the treaty.
Okay.
Right. So what that tells us is this, that when it comes to certain subjects, these countries agree on something and they can work together and for the agreed upon purpose of lying to us about something. You get what I'm saying? So when we talk about other space agencies, so like the Russian space agency, China, European, ours, they're on the same page.
So it's not just a U.S. government distrust; it's the entire. Okay.
It's the entire world. Exactly.
Okay.
Everybody's in on it, and they've signed a treaty to prove it. Get what I'm saying? This the one treaty that's never been broken.
So you're saying
any
like
country.
All these other treaties, like there's one called the Outer Space Treaty of 1967. That's just like fluff to kind of lead us away.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's super interesting. So that makes sense with the Antarctica Treaty, that they don't want anybody going there, this, that, and the other. So let's get into the actual kind of physical aspect of what this flat Earth kind of entails, because from a taught perspective of what we're taught in school, we are taught that the moon is it's a moon rock, right? It's this a very, very tiny version of a planet that's orbits around Earth, this ball that orbits around Earth. We only ever see one side of it. And the sun is 93 million miles away, and it's a burning hot ball of gas. And so that's what we're taught, right?
Correct.
So how does that differ from the flat Earth theory?
All right. So the funny thing is, I see just like you, I see memes all the time, right? So if you YouTube flat Earth theory or whatever, you'll see all these different kind of joke theories and all these different satirical and controlled opposition type videos.
I also noticed,
websites.
Sorry to interrupt, I also noticed there's a lot of fake information out there too, of claiming, like, I feel like there are a lot of organizations out there that try and make you guys look crazier. Is that right?
They are. Yes, they are. So,
but the Flat Earth Society, that's fine. We can use that.
Hell no, that's the worst.
Oh, really?
That is the fucking worst.
Oh, okay. We'll get there. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's cover sun and moon, and then we'll get into that.
Yeah. So we call that controlled opposition, bro, where they supposedly are one of us, but then they put out all kinds of dumb shit. It's like, bro, this is not at all what a real flat earther kind of thinks or believes or any of that shit.
Okay.
Just like, I don't know if you saw, then I'm gonna get to this. Just like if you saw the guy that got a lot of pub that died in a rocket trying to shoot himself up. Yeah. That was some other bullshit. That was not a flat earther dude at all.
Oh,
like,
okay, but like B.O.B., he was a real flat earther.
Yeah. B.O.B. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is, as a celebrity, you can't do that. Otherwise, they can come and get your ass. Or I'm sure he was taught a lesson. Anyway,
yeah, I think Shaquille O'Neal said he was flat earther, and then he had to rescind it to be.
Hell yeah, him, Kyrie Irving, yeah. So anytime somebody comes out that's big like that, somebody yank that goddamn chain, and I get it, because if they say it, then a lot of people listen, and a lot of people start looking at that shit. But so let's go back to the shape.
Yeah.
So the one thing we have to understand is that what I was saying with that is a lot of times what you see are people whom take the model of the universe that they were given, the one that we're taught, and then they just try to put the flat earth in the middle of that shit, right? They're like, all right, so all these other planets, they're spheres, and the sun it's a big ass gas giant that's doing fusion 90 million miles away, and then the earth is just this floating disc in space, right? And we're going around the sun, and if the earth was flat, then the water would fall off. So what you're saying is stupid, right?
Yeah, definitely heard that.
Of course. So what you have to understand is the entire model of what you're told about where we are is absolutely wrong. Okay. There's nothing about it that's correct, right? And it depends on that lie we are given is totally dependent on us not using our senses. not using our eyes,
Okay.
not trusting them, right? Not using our common sense to question what we were told, right? That's the only way that shit lives. And if no one ever, questioned you about it. Because once I start actually questioning the model I believed in, the whole fucking thing fell apart. It's like a cheap suit. You got a cheap suit, you start pulling one little thread, the next thing you know, the arm fall off, the leg, the inseam, all that shit coming apart. It literally fell apart at the goddamn seams once I pulled one little thread.
Do you recall kind of some of the things that started to fall apart first for you? Like what do you recall some of those?
What fell apart first?
It's okay if not. I'm just curious.
No, it's fine. So the spinning part.
Oh yeah,
fell apart first. Right? Yeah, that was the first thing. It's like, wait, huh? This don't make sense. The idea of space as the way we're taught, completely like, oh shit, I never thought about that.
Okay, wow.
It's some stuff that it's things that you start asking questions about how it operates and what it's like. Wait, that don't make sense. Wait, I never thought about this. Oh God, right? Because again, I watch space movies too. I like Star Wars. I like Star Trek.
Totally. Yeah.
I like all of that shit. Right.
Doesn't mean it has to be true for you, right? You can still enjoy it.
I can still enjoy it. I enjoy it, but now I recognize a lot of the propaganda in it. I used to sit and watch Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like when they showed all the different planets and all the beings that was on all these planets, and it's 10 other fucking Earth-like planets, and oh man, it's was it the planet like Uranus it rains diamonds or some shit. Like, man, this is some cool shit. All of that shit dumb as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like they got me.
Okay, so I kind of want to hear all that. And a lot of it. So let's start with the sun and moon.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of move on from there.
No problem. So things first.
I'm only rushing through just for the sake, because I want to cover a lot. So I'm not.
No, it's fine. It's okay. I'm okay. Cool. So the first things first. Well, the first thing we have to understand is that we're on a flat plane. The sun and the moon are both very, very close and very, very small. Okay. And and by all when you look at the facts, they're probably about the same size.
Okay? The sun and the moon are the same size.
The sun and the moon are about the same size. They're not. The moon is not a rock. And more than likely, the moon is more of a projection onto an object that's there. So when the moon is going through its phases, when it's not full, you can actually see through the dark part of where the moon is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So there and when you look at certain flags, and they'll have the crescent moon and then a star, that's what that is. It's them saying that we can see through the moon. There's so the planet, what we call planets, our ancestors called wandering stars. Okay. And so what they're saying is that we can see through the moon to this planet that's behind it. That's why you have the crescent moon with the star on it.
Oh, okay.
Right. And so I actually have a picture. Okay. I actually have a picture of that. Hold on.
So let me get this straight. When you're looking at the moon and you see a dark area you see one part that's like lit up, for lack of better terms, and you see one part that is dark, that dark part is not actually a dark part or a non-illuminated part of the rock. In fact, that's you actually seeing through whatever this thing is.
Exactly. Right. Okay. So we were saying that. And so that's evidenced by the fact that there are pictures of wandering stars, which we call planets, that were behind the moon during a time where it wasn't full, and you can see through where it should have been the rock. You can see through it to the planet, which means that it was in the part that's not lit up, it's transparent.
Okay. So I guess for my knowledge, in terms of experiment, there have been flat earthers that have been able to look at that dark spot and see stars through it, pretty much.
Yeah, I got a picture of it. Let me see. Hold on. Y'all gonna make me do something. Right. And so what I was saying is, when you look at these flags, there are a number of different flags that depict it. And so that's what they mean. So the crescent star and the moon, that was what that depicts. The fact that we can see through the moon when it's not illuminated. Right. It's like we know exactly what the moon is.
So that picture, like whoever took that, like it's not an airplane, like they checked like that was just there.
Exactly.
Got
And
it.
it's not a unusual phenomenon. So it's something that it happens a lot relatively.
Okay, so the moon. So what is I guess, do we know then where that light comes from when the moon is, I'll use the words appearing to shine very brightly?
Right. So the moon it's self-projecting, it's self-illuminating.
Okay, and it only illuminates part of itself at a time.
Right. So the moon is part of the timing device, right? So the moon, it actually lets you know. The whole point of the cycles is to let you know where you are in the month.
Okay.
All right. So it keeps
Okay.
resetting itself. Right. It
Okay,
goes
so
through a cycle.
similar to what school teaches you, that they also think that the moon had something to do with the month, right? So I guess that's
Right.
not totally different, but I do see the difference there. So one thing that, like, and what do you call, is there a name for people who don't believe in flat earth? Is there, so I can.
No, dude, you know what? I'm not really into calling people's names because the thing is, at one point I was one, right? Remember, I'm only here
Sure.
because I had I had the wherewithal at a specific time to chase something that seemed fishy to me, right? And so I wouldn't want nobody
Right.
calling me names
Yeah,
just
well,
because I didn't know.
just for the sake of this conversation, we'll just say a non-flat earther. Is that fine?
Right? Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so somebody who doesn't believe the earth is flat, they
Hmm.
think that the moon, the gravitational pull, because to them, right, this moon is this
Hmm.
large body. The gravitational pull from the moon is what causes the tides. Now,
Hmm.
does flat earth theory address the tides?
Yeah. So, and so what I want us to understand is that one thing, just because one thing is true, doesn't mean everything else isn't true. So, there are multiple things that can be true at once. So, the moon has magnetism, right?
Okay.
So, the moon as a magnetic thing, yes, that's true, right? So, it still can affect the tides, right? The other thing is this: there's no such thing as gravity, right? What we call gravity,
Whoa,
effectively,
really?
really. So
Whoa, okay.
what you said about gravity affecting the tides is really the magnetism of the moon and the water, the salinity of the water, right, reacting. So the magnetism is affecting the water.
So even though the moon is not like a rock or anything like that,
Mhm.
it self projects light and it has magnetic properties.
Exactly.
Okay, and that mixes with the salt water to be able to kind of ebb and flow it. So,
Right. And so
okay,
remember we talked about the idea of science and how we, in the flat earth community, we're all about science. So what you can do is if you have a magnet in your house, go turn a little bitty drip on in your faucet, put the magnet next to it and watch the water kind of react to the magnet.
okay, I will put that on my list. I don't have a sink nearby, but I will put
My
that on my
man.
list.
Yeah, no, I ain't saying you got to do it now, but I'm just talking about that's something you can do. Right.
Okay.
So, mhm.
Okay, so next, let's talk about the sun, because the sun is way more massive to people who do not think the Earth is flat. The sun is way more massive, and
Mhm.
right, they think that 98 Earths can fit in the diameter of the sun, and they think it's 93 million miles away, which is incredibly far. So, how does flat Earth differ on that one? You said it's the same size as the moon.
True. So it's also very, very small, very, very close. Okay. So using geometry and some observation, what we can see is that the sun is about 3,000 miles away and it's very small. And instead of us going around the sun actually goes around us. The sun and the moon actually go around the earth, which is flat and fixed. So when we talk about the shape, let's I think um the closest I can get to the shape would be like a roulette wheel, right? So think about a roulette wheel,
Oh,
right?
sure. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So in the center, right, how you got the thing in the center to turn it. So that's the North Pole, right? So that's the magnetic North Pole.
Okay.
Every compass points towards the center, right?
Okay.
So when you're going, so if you're standing facing north, right, magnetic north. So there's a magnetic North Pole. There is no magnetic South Pole. Okay. So if we're standing facing magnetic north, if you to your right is going to be east, to your left is going to be west, right? And when
Okay.
you follow the compass, what it'll do is it'll keep you going in a circle around the magnetic pole. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
yeah. So now with the when we talk about the sun and the moon, what they do is instead of on a roulette table, you spin everything, you spin the ball, you spin the wheel. This time the roulette table doesn't spin. Only the ball goes around it. So that's the sun and the moon. They both go around the earth along their tracks.
Okay.
You get what
So
I'm saying?
so when you say they go around the Earth, they kind of move in a circle above it, but they don't go like below it or anything. There's no like orbit.
Nope. Think about hands on the clock.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So then the sun is similar, right? Is it self-illuminating?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any idea what these are? Like what the sun and moon actually are in terms of like what they're made of? Do we know this?
Don't know.
Okay. Interesting. 3,000 miles. So that's like, if I'm not mistaken, that's like the length of the United States, but upward. And that's where these guys are. Okay. Okay. So we've got the sun, the moon. We're not sure exactly what they're made of exactly, but we know that they're self-illuminating and that the sun is always illuminating, but it's only illuminating what's below it. Is that right then?
Correct. So it's a local light.
A local light, kind of like a lamp.
Exactly.
Okay. And then the moon is self-illuminating as well, but it changes the amount that it lights up to tell us what part of the month it is.
True. It's right. It cycles through its phases. True.
Okay. So then I guess my next question is, do we know then like day and nighttime? Like I guess there are different lights then. The sun has a different kind of light than the moon. Is that why we can have night and day?
True. So so we were actually, so I did I did a video kind of conference call with a lot of people that are in our group a lot of times last night. And one of the things that we watched were video experiments where people actually, they took a thermometer. Okay. They had, there was actually multiple thermometers, or they had one thing in the sun, in the moonlight, and one thing in the shade. This was at nighttime. And what consistently was measured was that whatever is in the moonlight is consistently colder than what's in the shade, meaning that the moon emits cold light.
Oh, okay. So you were outside at night. You were under a tree.
No. So we were watching videos. So we were on a Zoom call, and I just kept pulling up videos from people who did this shit all across the world.
Well, that's what I mean.
This thing,
this person, whoever was doing the experiment, they're at night when the moon is out, and they're under a tree, and they took a temperature in the shade. We'll just say it's a tree. And it was warmer than when they went outside of the tree into open air with the moon hitting it, and that was colder.
True. Very true.
And that says that the moon is giving off cold light or air.
Exactly. So the moon gives off cold light, the sun gives off warm light.
Okay, and then that kind of helps with the the color of the sky and whatnot. It just changes things. Okay, so something that you said made me want to know more about Antarctica now, because you said that the North Pole is magnetic north, but you did obviously say that there was an Antarctica Treaty. So if there's no South Pole, then what the heck is Antarctica?
So Antarctica. So you remember how we talked about the roulette wheel?
Yeah.
Right. So you know how the roulette wheel at the edges, it's upturned.
Yes.
Right. So it's higher. Right. So the towards the center is low. The outer rim is higher. Antarctica is the ice wall that goes around us. The elevation goes up. I want to say about 10,000 feet. So it's about 2 miles high.
Wait, like Game of Thrones ice wall style?
Except it goes all around us.
Jeez. Okay. So have there been like photos of this?
There are plenty of photos of Antarctica. Yeah, and you can see.
I mean, like the ice wall. There are actually photos of this ice wall.
Yeah.
What? What do I have to look up?
Google photos of Antarctica, and you'll see it's a big ass ice wall. Right now, the thing is this: it doesn't go up, so it goes up 2 miles high, right? And then you have to. It's 100 miles that you like, hundreds of miles that you have to travel. Now, the thing that we haven't come across, that we haven't talked about, is what's on top of the Earth. right? So we haven't got to that part yet, right? So we're in an enclosed area, right?
Okay.
What's on top of us is what the Bible refers to as the firmament.
Okay.
All right. So it's a dome, is what we consider a dome, right? So
Okay.
above us is a dome, and so Antarctica is where the firmament meets the ground. So it goes into the ice.
Okay. So this is actually, I want to pause here real quick because this is pretty important.
Hmm.
Just as a distinction, I'm not really making assumptions. I guess I'm more just clarifying. But
Hmm.
does this mean that if does this mean I mean does this stem then from the Bible or Christianity, or is this just something that those biblical scholars were referring to rather?
Right. So I think the important thing to understand about the Bible is that it's not in its etymology a historical text. I mean, a biblical text. It's a historical, right? It's been taken and crafted into a religious text. The initial documents or the writings that this stuff stems from were not religious in nature at all, right? These were
So
people
like
writing that.
the Hebrew and Greek, the people that wrote it.
Right, right. So they were just documenting stories that they were told. They were telling, hey, yo, how did we get here? Like, what happened? And then this happened. Oh, goddamn. Okay. So, but and let me preface this by saying I'm not religious at all, and not in the
Interesting.
fucking
Okay.
least.
Okay, so that's actually really interesting. So it is okay. So the flat Earth, the idea of the flat Earth may have come from, or not come from the Bible, but the Bible documents the flat Earth, but it
Exactly.
documents it from a time when it was a historical document before it was moved into a religious document. So it's not
Exactly.
necessarily a Christian ideology, but the Christian
And
ideology came from this.
exactly. So the Christians
Okay.
adopted into their ideology, right? So
Okay.
the current Bible that we see, that was crafted at the Council of Nicaea, this was also put up in it, right? So this is some of the stuff that they put up in it. But even before that, right, people knew this stuff. This was in text before that. Right? This is just it's just known knowledge before that. It's only to us that that this is new, right? Because we weren't taught it. But previously everybody knew this shit.
Okay. Okay. So at a time when the Bibles were written, the stories, right? Maybe, and you said some of it was changed, and I'm not pretending to know which ones are changed or not. So,
Hmm.
but let's say for the sake of conversation that like the flood and right, David and Goliath and Adam and Eve and the stories of creation, like God created he separated the darkness from the light. He created the
Hmm.
firmament. He made the trees and the plants and the animals, and then he let Adam like name everything, right? So we're saying that when those stories were written, those people knew the earth was flat, but over time in religious changes and institutional changes, we've now taken the Bible to be religious. We've taken the history out of it, and our schools are now teaching that the world is a globe.
Right. So remember, the globe is only about 300 years old.
The idea of the globe.
Yeah, right. It's only about 400 years old. So we're talking
Okay.
about hundreds of thousands of years before then everybody knew the shit was flat.
So does that mean that humanity has kind of gotten stupider then over the years?
Oh my brother. That's to say the least. To say the least. Right.
Okay.
So actually I was looking at a video again. So we do these Zoom these kind of Zoom calls like we're on Clubhouse. So a lot of people from our Clubhouse group, we get on Zoom and we look at videos. I showed a bunch of people of a video where this guy was going through newspaper clippings from the 1800s where they were finding thousands of giant skeletons, people 10 feet tall, 12 feet tall, 18 feet tall, 32 feet tall, right? And this is in the newspaper.
Okay.
So because you mentioned David and Goliath, and what I'm saying to you is that's documented that giants walked the earth, and it
Got
wasn't.
it. Interesting.
This ain't
Okay.
nothing. It's not uncommon to know this,
Got it.
right?
Okay. Okay. Well, super interesting. I want to move on because there's a ton more I want to ask about.
True.
Obviously, right now, space exploration is massive, right? It's a huge booming industry that's coming. Organizations like NASA, they want to go back to the moon. Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. There's an international space station, which I'm sure you guys, you're right. I'm sure you're going to talk about this. But what is kind of the flat Earth theory say about these organizations that say that, Elon Musk says he throws hundreds of satellites into orbit. The International Space Station goes around the Earth, at once every 90 minutes. What does that kind of say about things in space? Is it possible to get to space?
No, short answer.
Okay.
And the short answer of that is he's lying. They're lying, like they always have been.
Okay, so anyone who's taking pictures or anything, that's all like computer, photo manipulated. Nobody is actually in space.
All right, so this is what's very important to understand. There are 0 photos of Earth, not one.
Okay.
0 photographs of Earth. What we see are images. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
There's a difference between a photograph and an image. I can show you an image of Yosemite Sam, right? that don't mean he's the rooting his toots and shooting this. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So everything we see is a manufactured image, right? NASA actually has a whole department dedicated to making images. What they say is that they get data back, and then through the data, they have somebody decode it and this, that, and the other, and they come up with these pictures. No, they have somebody pull that shit fresh out their ass. They go to the bathroom, literally, come back with something fresh out their goddamn ass and put it out and say, "Ooh, look, Uranus." You get what I'm saying?
Okay. So that's actually a good piece too. So, and this isn't, I don't think I need to preface this anymore by saying I'm not like trying to start
No,
anything,
it's fine.
but I'm just kind of asking,
spit it out, bro.
Is there like evidence or kind of proof that these guys have made this stuff up, or are you able to see from these photos?
Sure, there's evidence. Let's see. So this is where I'd like, hold on, man. Is this stuff?
Yeah, no, go for it. No, this is just really interesting. That's all.
No. Cool. So let's start with the very first supposed photo of Earth that was taken during the moon mission. Have you ever seen this?
Yeah, was it Apollo 8?
Right. So you see that here? Look at my profile picture. Right. So that photo, people are going. So you can't fool technology. So they did this shit back in the fucking 70s, right? So I don't think they ever counted on the fact of technology catching up and going back and looking at it. So what you're seeing is that people took the photo that they gave us of the moon. I mean, from the moon, put it in Photoshop, dropped the levels. Seeing is that the Earth part. See the box around the Earth part. They literally just pasted that shit on there. Right.
Okay. I see what you're talking about.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So when you drop these levels, you can see that the photo was just pasted on there.
Right. The Earth is just pasted. They took some shit, made it up, pasted it on, quote unquote, the moon landing. And NASA, there's a NASA employee called Rob Simmons. He did an interview on the radio where he pretty much described how he made, when you get the iPhone, it was a picture of the globe on there they call it the blue marble.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Well, he pretty much talks about how he made it, right? He
talks about,
yeah. So, guy named Rob Simmons, he did a radio interview, and they were giving him big ups, and he was just talking about how he made the blue marble photo. He was like, "Yeah, so I got these kind of strips of data, and then it didn't look real. So, I added this, I added some clouds, added the blue, I added the plankton. So he made every photo you see of the Earth is made by somebody."
Okay. So that means that anyone who claims to have gone to space is a liar. And then any photos that were claimed to have taken of people up there is just in some lab or basement or something.
It's somebody that made that shit. They're lying. Yes.
Okay. That covered. So we don't know really. So nobody's been to space. We don't know what it's like up there. And I guess that brings me to my next question: are the stars, right? Because normal.
So real quick.
Yeah.
So before we leave this, I want to show you something. Okay, so it should be up there. Refresh right now.
Yeah, I see that. Okay.
You see that? So those are several different iterations or pictures that they've told us is the Earth throughout the year. See how they all look different?
Yeah.
So they can't make up their mind on what they think the Earth looks like every iteration. So the continents change size, the water change colors, It's a fucking hodgepodge of bullshit. Right. So that's what I mean when I say there are no photographs of Earth. Everything we see is some made up monkey ball bullshit.
Understood. Yep. I can see your mindset on that.
All right. Go ahead. What was your question, bro?
No, that makes sense. Yeah, my main question was the stars, right? So there are clearly lights in the sky, right? At nighttime,
Yeah.
lights are in the sky. So what are those then?
So from what we see, they're lights projected onto the firmament, right? So they aren't physical places to go. Just like planets, there's no physical Mars you can go to in this body, right? The bodies that we inhabit right now aren't meant to leave this
even
place.
the planets then. So the planets aren't actual bodies either.
No,
Okay.
no, my brother. No, my
Okay,
brother.
so when we see like star-like beings or things that appear as stars, right? I'm sorry, things that look like stars that were like, oh, that's Saturn, that's Jupiter. All of those, including the stars in the sky and everything that we say are like galaxies and this, that, and the other, are just lights that are projected onto the firmament.
Right. So, with the wandering stars, what we call planets, right? So there's something, I don't know exactly what they are, but they are not planets that we can go to. Not with these bodies that we have here.
Okay.
There is no leaving this place in these bodies to go to those places. Now, we have discussions all the time in our group about, being from there and souls coming from there and things of that nature. I got no issue with that. It's entirely possible because they do have an effect on what goes on in this realm, right? So the things in the sky affect us, right? Those energies, through whatever is going on, they affect us. The position of the stars affects us. The moon affects us. The sun affects us. The planets, quote unquote, they affect the energy that's going on this planet. But in terms of those being actual places to go to, that is a lie.
Okay, so does that, and I don't want to go into this next topic that I'm about to bring up. I don't want to go into it too deep because I have other things, but does that like align with astrology then?
It does. And so
like the meaning of the moon. Go for it. Just go for it.
Yeah. No. So that's one of the things when I start talking and people who are really deep into astrology, they asshole starts clenching up super tight, right? Because they feelings get mad, hurt, because they like, does that mean I'm not a Capricorn? I'm a Leo. What do you mean? So it doesn't change any of that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It doesn't change any of that. That's why I said those entities have an effect on what goes on here, but they just are not what we think they are. They're not what we've been told. So they have energy, and those energies affect us, right?
Okay.
But they're not physical places to go.
Okay, I'm putting the notebook down and I'm ready to ask some real questions here. Okay. So this is what I'm really curious about, right? One thing I do really appreciate about the space industry is that their curiosity to explore, right? It's really cool idea, right? And even in the sci-fi, we see people want to go explore and go to Mars, and that's really rad, really cool. But obviously, you need money, you need resources. But if we don't know exactly like what the moon is made of or the sun is made of, what is their current like desire to go and explore and go up there? Has anybody like tried,
All right. So, the U.S. government was actually the ones who discovered this. They discovered the firmament, aka the dome, in the 1950s. Okay. And so the first thing they did upon discovering the dome it's called Operation Fishbowl. Catch the name, Operation Fishbowl.
Yep.
Is when the first thing they did was they started shooting nuclear missiles straight up in the sky.
Is this the one where they were trying to hit the moon, or is this different?
So some people may think they were trying to hit the moon, but no, they were trying to map out the dome. They were trying to see exactly how high it was.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that when they discovered it, they began trying to map it out. And so now they protect it and they're trying to figure out what the fuck it is and how to get out of it. Right?
Okay. So the US government, they discovered this firmament. They do want to get out. They do want to explore out, but they feel the need to tell all of us that it's not so, that it's in fact open for everyone, open for business. Why would they want to? Yeah.
Well, so let's understand. NASA is a entertainment agency, right? Their budget is like $58 million a day. And they're paid to distract us with tales of fucking fantasy, right? Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin both have stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That ain't for fucking scientists, right? That's for entertainers. Get what I'm saying? So what they're doing is the whole space thing is them trying to keep us. Is what we call a pump fake. When they tell us one thing, but there's some other shit going on. So they know that we ain't no space, ain't no getting out of this place. Ain't no space exploration, ain't no fucking going to other planets, ain't no moving to Mars, ain't none of that shit, right? But they're keeping us busy with tales of that while they do other shit, while they try to figure out what exactly is going on this planet, right?
Okay, and just real quick to reset the room here for people who have joined, we're just having a conversation about the flat Earth theory, and we're just learning more about it. Okay, so I guess we'll talk about just NASA because they came up. NASA specifically, their main mission maybe isn't necessarily that bad. So you think there's a chance that behind the curtain, they're actually trying to get up there and see what's going on, but they're still trying to distract the population.
Right. So they're trying to figure out a way, what is this? How do we get through it? How do we get out? So they got all this other shit going on, trying to deal with that. But while they're doing that, they want us to believe all this old fanciful ass, oh yeah, we're moving to Mars and we're taking all the rich people and we can get a trip to the moon. Ooh, you get what I'm saying? Oh shit, we got pictures from Uranus. We just discovered 3,000 more Earth-like planets. Like it's at this point is laughable, right? Like the shit that comes across the news every fucking day in terms of what they're quote unquote discovering. Right? This shit's fucking laughable.
Okay. So in terms of like proof and stuff like that, the reason why NASA is able to publish these photos or images, right? These images of such a realistic looking Earth is because they just have the resources. They have so much money, they have so much funding, and that's why we don't see like a real like full scale flat Earth photo. Is that correct? Because we just don't have the resources.
Correct.
So I guess one of my questions would be like, I'm happy to like let's say we were in a debate. I'm happy to like assume that the Earth was flat, for instance. Like if we were on differing sides here, I would be happy to say that. And I think for me, evidence would look like if like hard evidence, right? The number one evidence would be for me to go up 3,000 feet in the air, see the moon and the sun at my level, and look down at the map that we think is of flat Earth, right? That would be like the ultimate evidence, right? If you were somehow able to get up there.
Right.
But if everyone that has been to quote unquote space is lying, then let's pretend just for a second that you were open to it once again, no longer being flat. What would you think would be like that evidence that you'd be like, okay, like how would you know? Here's the question I'm asking. You need resources, you need money to get up there eventually. So at that case, it will become an institution. But if institutions are all run by this governing body, then how can you trust anything?
Right.
So like, I'm like trying to figure out in one instance, would there be able to be even like a flat Earth society, for lack of better terms, not the actual one that exists. Right. But eventually there's going to have to be someone with resources to be able to prove this and no longer make it a theory, right? That's the idea.
I got you. Yeah, so while you was talking, I was I be having to go down my Twitter, dude. So there are a couple of things, right? So I told you I operate off of science, right? So
Yeah.
one of the things that that kind of hit for me was something really, really fucking simple. And that is the attempt to detect a curve of the planet.
Yeah,
Right?
there it
And
is. That's what I didn't ask about. Okay.
yeah. So how do we know like that the Earth is flat? And it has nothing to do with pictures from space or anything like that. Because I mean, if I ask people all the time, because I get this because I always get the question, right? So how do you know that the Earth is flat? And my answer is very, very simple. Every attempt through experimentation to find the curvature of Earth has failed to detect such. And so the question becomes, how many miles of flat land does it take to make a sphere? Okay. And so what you can do is, I don't know what city you're in, but shit, go down to the nearest beach, go down to the nearest lake, ocean, watch the boats, look across the water and see how far can you see,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, because
Because there's
the normal theory would say that they would disappear behind the horizon, right?
exactly, right. So the
Okay.
question is, how far can you see, right? And so based upon traditional logic or traditional science, quote unquote, the Earth is 25,000 miles around, right? And so there's a formula for how much it should curve. That formula is 8 inches per mile squared, right? 8 inches
Okay.
per mile squared, right? And
Does
so
that mean if you're looking 1 mile in front of you, that means that your let's say your eyes are at like sea level, for lack of better terms, and you look out in
right.
front of you, the spot you see should be 8 inches above the ground. Is that
So
right?
whatever
If it's
you're
curved.
looking at, no, whatever you're looking at should be hidden behind 8 inches of curvature. So things disappear at a rate of 8 inches per mile squared, right? So
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
you get what I'm saying? So so when, you know how
Yeah.
they start talking about boats disappearing over the curve and things of that nature. So those things, there's a
Yeah.
formula for calculating how much you should be able to see and how much curvature you should be able to detect at a certain distance, right? And so when we start talking about like how far can you see, right? At a rate of what we're talking about, 10 miles, we're talking about 66 feet of curvature that you should have lost. So anything 10 miles away, if it's not more than 66 feet tall, you shouldn't be able to see it, right? And so when we start talking
Okay.
about what 50 miles, well, now we're talking about 1,600 feet, right? It's over 1,600 feet of curvature at 50 miles, right? And so the more and more we do these simple observations, we go down to the water, we go down to the beach, we get as low as we can, and we look and see how far we can see. What we consistently discover is that if you're watching a boat with your eyes, the boat fucking disappear, like they told us in fucking third grade Christopher Columbus history class. But
Yep.
you get some binoculars. Next thing you know, the whole fucking boat's back, right? And through the binoculars, you watch the goddamn thing go away, right? It's like, all right, it finally went over the curvature, right?
So if you
It's
get even
gone.
more powerful binoculars,
Right, you
you'd be
get
able to
something
see it
more
again.
powerful, the whole fucking boat comes back,
Okay.
right? And so
Yeah.
now we're talking, where's the fucking curvature, right? We don't have to go to space to detect curvature. I should be able to watch that shit go away, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
That lines up.
then I ask people, yo, have you ever seen the curvature? And everybody, like, how many people up in here right now? So there is 100 people up in here, right? If I ask most of the people, yo, you ever seen the curvature of the Earth? At least 50, probably 80% gonna tell me, hell yeah, I was in a plane, I saw the curvature. Oh yeah?
Right.
Did you really? Or do you think, or did you see pictures of Earth and it was curvature, you saw spheres, and you assume that looking out of a plane window, you saw the Earth's curvature, right? Then I'll say this. Go ahead, go back to my Twitter page.
Okay.
All right. So a plane is at 35,000 feet, right?
Okay.
You see the
The
thing at the
dog
top of my
cam,
Twitter
that's what I'm looking at.
page? Yep,
Yeah.
the dog cam. You see that? That's at 120,000 feet, right? So you're saying, so then I'll ask people, so you're saying at 35,000 feet, you saw the Earth curve. But at 120,000 feet, there is no curvature. You didn't see a curve. You only think you saw a curve. You tell yourself you saw a curve. You didn't. Right?
Okay, but this like camera is 120,000 feet high. Is that what it is?
Yes, it's in a high altitude balloon.
And it actually is. So you're saying it actually is in a high altitude balloon?
Yeah.
Okay. 120,000 feet. Whoa. Okay. What's 120,000? Okay. So that's only, I might be doing the math wrong. What is that? 20 miles ish?
Yeah, about
and the
that.
sun would be 3,000 miles.
Right.
Okay.
And so what you see, I want you to look at, are you looking at the video?
Yeah.
You see the sun? You see what's right under the sun?
Yeah, that spot.
That spot that tell you
that it is projecting downward like a lamp.
And it's pretty close. That ain't 93 million miles away, bro.
Okay. I see the video. Check that out. This has been, I'll tell you what, Lionel, just from a pure educational standpoint, I mean, I'll probably hop in your groups again and just ask questions that come up, because I'm sure a lot of questions will come up, but I haven't met a lot of flat earthers, and I've only heard negativity and stuff online. So it was nice that you were so approachable. I really appreciate it.
No, it's all good. You know what though? I honestly think that there are more than you think, right? However, there are lots of people who they believe in it. They just can't articulate things that they've learned or that they've seen, or they don't remember everything. And so a lot of times they'll end up talking and they'll be rambling, and the thoughts don't come out very coherent. The other thing is this: there are lots of people who there's lots of ridicule, and so a lot of people get defensive, and I get that shit, right? So they'll get defensive about it, and so it just becomes real tough. And then there's a lot of people who just they pretend, like you said, we talk about controlled opposition groups, and people just lying, right? So that happens a lot. But no, I get you.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I mean, people even supporting the other, like what they think is true, they'll even get frustrated, right? Because it's their truth, right? Or that's what they think. So
you know what? It's a tough thing to swallow, bro. It's a tough thing to swallow. This is what I'll say. It's really tough, and this is what I tell people, especially when I'm talking to people and they're new to it. It's really, really tough to go to sleep on a globe and wake up in a flat enclosed terrarium, right? You're changing somebody's entire worldview, and that ain't easy. And it ain't easy for people to let that shit go, right? People hang on to that shit like grim death. And so that's why
it's
somebody's whole reality that we're talking about. So I typically don't engage in a lot of random conversations about it at all, right? I don't talk to people about it for the most part, unless they ask me questions. I don't debate anybody because it's not up for debate anymore, right? And so for me, it's all about discussions. If you want to have a discussion about it, which is why I came on, you was like, yo, can we have a discussion? I got no problem having a discussion. And I'm okay with people giving me pushback or asking me questions about things that I say or about evidence. We can have a discussion about evidence.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are you're scientific. You obviously have to be, right?
Exactly. Exactly. But I'm not up with, I don't try to convince anybody anymore though. I'm past that shit.
I mean, unless they ask, of course.
Obviously. Right. If you ask me a question, I'll answer your question. But I'm not trying to convince you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Like if I was like, hey, I think I believe in this, but I can't articulate it, that's when you'll get into, all right, here we go. You asked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, cool. This was a really great conversation, Lionel. I really appreciate it. I will definitely not be a stranger in Clubhouse. If I see you in a room, I'll hop in. Absolutely. But this has been really fun, and you were really nice to have on. So I know my listeners will be really appreciative, and just thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, bro.